Hello folks, welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're currently touring Toronto and this is full-on photogrammetry goodness, ultra settings, running my 10900K with the RTX 3090. I really should be using the AMD system a bit more, but I just prefer my own. But anyway, before we talk about the title of this video, I just want to point out this is the Just Flight Piper Warrior, which in my opinion is the best general aviation aircraft ever made at the point of this recording anyway. I'm hoping A2A are going to be along before too long. And also, talking about add-on aircraft, I did recently preview the the Aeroplane Heaven Spitfire. And yeah, that was a preview. It was an early beta build, and there were quite a number of issues with the sound. Now, I'm really disappointed to hear, quite literally, that those issues are still a problem. In fact, there's quite a number of bugs with that aircraft. So quite honestly, right now, I cannot recommend buying it until Aeroplane Heaven sorts out all those bugs. That's just not good enough. Not very impressed with that. And yeah, so if you want to know what my opinion is on that aircraft versus the Flying Irons, well, there isn't really much of a comparison right now. The Flying Irons is by far the winner, although it's a Mark 1A Spitfire, so if you are a Spitfire nerd like me, it is nice to have both. But maybe wait a bit longer until Aeroplane Heaven sorts out those bugs, because there's like landing gear sounds that are missing, primer sounds, engine startup sounds missing. Yeah, there's a bug with the battery car. There's so many little stupid things really that should be sorted out. So yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the Varjo VR-3 and Pimax 8Kx. Which one is better? I'm laughing because I've had so many comments and emails asking me what is my opinion on both those headsets. Well, I'm going to give you it right now. And the best way I can do that is by flying around here in beautiful scenery and letting you know all the good points and bad points about each sort of headset, if I can talk. And then I will give you my final verdict. This video isn't going to be very long, don't worry. I'll start right now with the Varjo. What are the good points about that headset? Well, it's got the most amazing resolution you'll ever experience. It's absolutely amazing. Even though you can't run the human eye center focus display, those sort of aspheric lenses are the absolute killer feature. If the Reverb G2 had aspheric lenses, then it probably would look as good. But not only that, it has an amazing auto IPD adjustment, which I absolutely love that, because IPD is something that is a pretty serious and important feature that VR headset manufacturers seem to get wrong all the time. In this case, it's got eye tracking and hand tracking. It's built just like a Lexus. So there's many things that I love about that headset. It's by far the most incredible visual experience you'll ever see in a VR headset right now. The sweet spot is not an issue. There is a slight bit of screen door if you're really picky. And yeah, it's amazing. Right, what about the bad points though? You have barrel distortions, okay? And I'm actually going to count these because I'm going to count the ones with the Pimax as well. This is the important thing, right? So first of all, it's got barrel distortions. It's not terrible, but it is there. And it is distracting to start with. You do get used to it, but to be honest, it is there. And it, hopefully with a bit of software tweaking, it will be sorted out. And they are planning on doing that actually soon. But for the time being, that is a negative. It's got no audio. Some people think this is a positive, weirdly, but it hasn't got any audio. I think that's a negative. It's a real shame, especially when you consider the Pimax and Reverb G2 has amazing audio. It's such a missed opportunity there. So that's not good. That's number two. Number three, it's an LCD display actually. So the colours are really good. They are really good, but they're not as good as say the Vive Pro 2, which I think has the best colours of any LCD headset on the market, and it's certainly not OLED levels of greatness. So that's the third thing I don't like. The fourth thing, which could count for about 10 points, is the subscription model. Now, I'm saying this because I'm a gamer. I pretend to fly planes. That's basically what I do. I'm not in it for the professional business side, so really this is a contentious one. But really, if I'm going to think about buying one, that subscription model kills it dead in the water for me. I'm not spending £800 a year on a subscription model. I totally understand why it's there for the business sector, because guys, this headset is the top end of all VR headsets. The air forces across the, well, I say the world, like Lockheed Martin use it, the Swedish Air Force use it, among many other professional use cases. That's what it's for, okay? So for that point of view, that subscription isn't such a bad thing, but for the general sort of, I'm going to say gamer or flight simmer, that's pretty much a very, very big negative for me. Look at the visuals here, absolutely amazing. Oh yes, that's just reminded me, my fifth negative of that headset is the fact it has no motion reprojection at the time it's recording. That's something they are looking into, but it has no sort of smooth asynchronous time warp, smooth, whatever you want to call it, because every manufacturer has a different name for it. But as you can see here, I'm using the mirror right now, and look at the smoothness here. It's absolutely silky smooth. Now, if that doesn't bother you, then that's fine, but that is definitely a negative of the headset. Right, now let's move on to the Pimax 8Kx. What are the good things about that headset? Well, the first thing is obviously it doesn't have a subscription model. It's a one-time payment. It is expensive, admittedly, but it is a one-time payment, and that is it. You can use it forever. You have to worry about, logging in or anything like that, because it's a gaming consumer headset. It makes sense, right? But that is definitely a plus point when you consider we're comparing this to the Varjo VR-3. The next thing has to be that field of view. In fact, I'll put a link in the description below, if I remember, of my raw reaction video of that headset. I was absolutely taken back with the field of view. It's a massive slab of screen. It's a feast for the eyes. And when you go back to a headset like the Reverb or Quest or Vive Pro 2, it feels like you're looking through a pair of toilet rolls. Honestly, it feels like that. You get used to it again, but it's just amazing. That field of view is nothing else on the market competes with it. 170 degrees horizontal. It's amazing, and only Pimax can seem to be able to do that. And it really is. It's just huge, especially for combat sims like DCS and IL2. So that's the second good thing about it. The third actually is the software. And when I say software, I mean literally you can change everything about that headset. The IPD offset, you can change the color palette, you can have separate presets for different applications and sims and games. It's brilliant and it works flawlessly. I have to say the Pi tool has come on leaps and bounds. It is definitely the best software I have come across. Just really easy to use. That's the third thing. Fourth thing, the actual display itself. There's no mirror, and I'm going to tie in the colours as well, because you can fiddle around with the colours like my good friend Shark or Uva. Massive support of the channel, and he does so much on my Discord channel. By the way, I'll also leave a link to that in the description below. Please come and say hello. Hang out with me and my little group of crazy VR nut jobs. We call ourselves the Beta Flying Club. But yeah, the colour palette is absolutely sensational. It really is, and you can get some fantastic blacks in that headset. Not as good as OLED, but it's certainly better than the Varjo. Right, I've lost count now. Was that the third or fourth thing? I don't know. Don't really care. Basically, the next thing I'm going to say, I think this was the fifth thing, or the fourth, is the audio. My God, the KDMAS audio is sensational. And in fact, I'm going to have very soon the brand new version, the DMAS I think it's called, or the floating ear design audio of the Pimax in my hands very shortly. I have no idea what that's going to be like, but if it's any better than what it already is, which it should be, then it might even be like a game changer. I mean, like the Reverb G2 audio is fantastic. If it's anything like that, with that field of view, interesting indeed. I think you see where I'm going with this, guys. So as we keep doing laps around Toronto, people are going to start wondering what the hell I'm doing, so I'll just make this very quick. This is the important bit now. I found 5 things, well, negative things about the Varjo. What about the Pimax? Well, the first thing is the performance. Things are moving forward, and it does run better in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It definitely does, but it still struggles, particularly because you need parallel reprojections enabled to stop all that frustum culling business. And it does hurt performance by about 20% or even more than that. So I have to have that as a negative. It's not really Pimax's fault, to be honest. It's more Asobo, but it is a thing. What else? I guess some people might say it's quite a heavy headset, but That massive screen in there is unbelievable. I actually find it really comfortable. If you use the Studio Form balancer on the back, it actually is supremely comfortable. But out of the box, there's a little bit of pressure on the nose area. So I have to say, it is a little bit uncomfortable. The resolution, whilst very nice, is nowhere near as sharp as the Varjo VR-3. And you know what? I think we're still in that sort of issue right now. Whether it's either absolute clarity or amazing field of view, you can't get both right now. Number 4 of the things that perhaps are negatives with the Pimax is that you need an extra hand tracking module to use your hands. With the Varjo, it's with the software. Now, bearing in mind the Quest 2 does this really well as well, and that's only £300. But I have to say the Varjo hand tracking is very good. You don't get that with the Pimax, you have to have an additional module. So that, I'm really nitpicking here. So that's another thing. Apart from that, I think that's about it. Can't really think of anything that's really bad. I think probably a negative for both headsets is that they don't come with controllers actually. So that's 6 for the Varjo and 4 for the Pimax. And when it's all said and done, the conclusion is I would choose the Pimax 8Kx over the Varjo VR-3 personally, because I'm not comfortable, with the £800 subscription. It's not for me. I can't buy one anyway. I haven't got a business, not that I know of anyway. I don't really class this YouTube thing as a business. It's a bit of a hobby. So with that in mind, I would absolutely choose the 8Kx. Now, if Varjo could, and I've said this a million times, I know, but if they was able to bring to market something like the Varjo VR-3, all of the good stuff about that headset, maybe take the human eye sort of focus display out of the equation, maybe the auto IPD adjustment, something like that, and bring the price down and have no subscription, then we'll talk again. And I'm pleased to say that my first impression video of the Varjo has now, well, pretty much reached 50,000 views in 2 weeks. So I know people are really sort of helping me out here, and thank you for everybody in the comments for shouting as loud as I am. Please, Varjo, if you are listening, we need that consumer headset. But for the time being, if I were, this is the point of the video, were to compare the Varjo VR-3 with the Pimax 8Kx, absolutely the 8Kx wins. It totally wins, really. And to be honest, for any VR headset enthusiast where field of view is more important, the 8Kx will always win. It's an absolutely astonishing headset. Look at this photogrammetry. Look at that, that's a roller coaster. Ha! Brilliant. And you can even see what looks like a dash, oh it's gone now, in the photogrammetry there, or in the ortho imagery. That's weird, it's disappeared. Here we go then, coming in for landing. Outside view. Why not? What can go wrong? Listen to those sounds. In the flare, no idea what speed I'm doing, but it feels about right. And touchdown. Oh, holding her off. There we go. Take care, folks. See you next time.